Hey everyone, it's low carb and keto nutrition specialist Amy Berger, and I help people do keto without the crazy. Now, not everyone does a ketogenic or low carb diet for the purpose of weight loss, but let's face it, weight loss is one of the most common reasons that people do adopt a keto or low carb diet, and it's certainly one of the most common reasons that people contact me for help. So, with that in mind, we've got to talk about goal weight. I have lots of notes here, but I'll try to keep this video not too long because I do know my previous one was a little bit on the longer side. Now, before I get into things, let me remember one order of business. I've heard from some of you that the sound on my videos is very quiet and you can either not hear me at all or you can barely hear me. But I've checked with lots of other people and they say there's no problem. I have done troubleshooting on my setup. I think everything is fine on this end. So if you are someone who listens to my videos and has trouble hearing it, please double check the output of your device, whether it's your phone or if you have earbuds, headphones, a computer speaker, whatever it is, please double check that it's not something on your side because I definitely want you to be able to hear me. Okay. Let's get into the goal weight thing. It's easier for me to tell you how not to determine your goal weight than how to determine it. How not to determine your goal weight is looking at some stupid, arbitrary, meaningless BMI chart, the body mass index, although I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Also, probably not the best way to do it is to set your sights on what you ate in high school, or what you weighed before your 3 pregnancies, or before some crazy life circumstance happened. Maybe those are not really the best numbers for you to aim for today, right now. So what is the best number for you to aim for? Well, when someone asks, what's my ideal weight? What should my goal weight be? I kind of think in my head, I don't know, what should it be? Because it's a very simple seeming question that you might think there's a very simple answer to, but there isn't. And let's talk about why. So I did a video quite some time ago about why you should not have a goal weight at all. I'll link to it in the notes, but I'll give you the quick summary version here. The fact is, you don't have a goal weight. You don't really care what the number on the scale is. You have a goal physique. You have a goal appearance. You have a goal size and shape, correct? And the problem with setting your sights on a particular number is that that number could be unrelated to your physique. And so it is very possible to, let's say you get to your goal weight, you got to that number, whatever it may be, and you are still unhappy. What now? That number was the goal. That number was supposed to make everything perfect and magical in your life, and you're there and you're still unhappy. You are still dissatisfied every time you look in the mirror. You're dissatisfied every time you get dressed. Well, what's the point of that? And on the flip side of that, what if you didn't quite get to that particular number on the scale, but you are perfectly content with where you are? Maybe you are 2, 3, 5, 10 pounds heavier, or 1, 2, 3 kilos, whatever, higher than what your goal weight was, but you feel great, you're in excellent health, all your clothes fit, you like the way you look in them, you like the way you feel in your own skin, then do you really need to go those last few pounds or kilos? I would hate for anyone to feel like a failure because they didn't quite hit that totally arbitrary number, and here they are looking amazing, feeling amazing. They should be proud of themselves. They should be proud of whatever changes they had to make in their lifestyle to get there, and instead they're going to feel like a failure. To me, that is a tragedy. So we have to understand that, again, you don't have a goal weight. You have a goal shape, you have a goal physique, a goal appearance. And the number on the scale might not, and often does not, match up with that physique and size and shape and appearance that you have in mind. You've heard this before, but people really don't believe it. Muscle is much denser than fat. It's not heavier, it's denser. 5 pounds of muscle weighs the same as 5 pounds of fat because it's 5 pounds. But 5 pounds of muscle is smaller than 5 pounds of fat. So if you, let's say, lose a significant amount of body fat and you build some muscle, you are going to be slimmer. You're going to be, trimmer, tighter, whatever you want to call it. You will have a more shapely physique, but you might weigh the same. Your scale weight might not change at all, or, depending on the change in size, you might have lost less than you were hoping to lose, or less than you wish you had lost, because you erroneously, in my opinion, set your sights on a number rather than on an appearance. Okay, that is number one, why it can be very fraught and very difficult to determine a goal weight. Rather than a goal weight, one particular number that you've wedded yourself to, I prefer for people to have a goal weight range. A range in which you can be up, 2 to 3 pounds in either direction. So you've got like a 5 or 6 pound window or more, whatever you choose, or, that's like 1 or 2 kilograms in either direction. And wherever you are within that range, all or most of your clothing fits. You still feel good in your own skin. You still like what you see in the mirror. You are still able to do all the things you want to do throughout the day. And if you start to inch up out of the higher end of your range, that would be your signal, like, oh, okay, time to hunker down, time to tighten things up a little bit, because I'm perfectly happy wiggling within this range, but I'm kind of out of that range now. Okay. But yeah, and having a weight range accounts for the natural variability and fluctuations in your body weight from day to day. There's a book that I love. It's one of my favorite books in the low carb canon. It's called The Art and Science of Low Carbohydrate Living by 2 of the world's most renowned researchers, Stephen Phinney and Jeff Volek. And they have a fabulous quote in there. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's something to the effect that a normal, natural human body fluctuates 2 to 3 pounds up or down, from day to day. And it's just water fluctuations. It's fluid changes. It is not body fat. And so when you have a weight range that you're aiming for instead of one particular number, that range naturally accounts for those totally normal fluctuations that happen. And they could happen because of humidity. I know I blow up like a balloon with fluid retention when it's humid out. The menstrual cycle, if you've eaten, a bit too much sodium and maybe you're a little puffy or whatever it may be, the range just accounts for that, rather than you being wedded to the number and you're 1 or 2 pounds up and you're freaking out when nothing bad has happened. Nothing has gone wrong. Okay. Beyond that, the even more important reason why I don't like a goal weight is because, to borrow from one of my mentors, Corinne Crabtree of the No BS weight loss program, you don't have a goal weight. You have a goal life. And again, remember I said earlier, what happens if you get to your goal weight and you're still miserable? Your boss is still a jerk, your husband still leaves his dirty socks on the floor, or your wife still leaves God knows what all over the place, your kids still make a mess, the dog still throws up on the carpet. Well, this isn't how it was supposed to go. I got to my goal weight. Weren't, the gates of heaven supposed to open up and like magic fairy dust was supposed to sprinkle down upon my life? So you don't have a goal weight, you have a goal life. And let me talk a little bit more about that. You need whatever you decide on, whether it's a goal weight range, a size, a body fat percentage, a certain look. It has to be sustainable. Whatever you are doing to get there, can you see yourself doing it forever? Because if you can't, then there's a good possibility that you're going to regain some of the weight or regain some fat, or your shape is going to change, probably in a way that you wish it wouldn't. Let's see here. Yeah, whatever you're doing, if it's taking an inordinate amount of time, effort, money, mental energy, can you see yourself really doing that for the next 10, 20, 50 years, whatever it may be? And, you know, if whatever amount of working out you're doing, can you see yourself doing that for this many years? Whatever level of dietary restriction you have, whether it's carbs, whether it's just sugar, whether it's plant foods, you know, maybe you're doing carnivore, whatever, or maybe it's severe calorie restriction or like super extended fasting, whatever you're doing or have done to get you to the goal weight or goal weight range, physique, whatever, is that sustainable for you? Because what is the point of reaching your goal weight or your goal physique, your goal size, if it's fleeting, if it lasts for like 2 days and then boom, you're out of it, or 2 months, or even a year? How many, you know, success stories are there of people that lose tremendous amounts of weight, they look great, and, you know, a year later, nope, not so much. Don't we see that all the time with weight loss surgery? The exception is to keep the weight off long term. The norm is to regain it. And same thing when people are starting to come off these GLP-1 drugs, the Ozempics and the GIP dual drugs, the Mounjaros and the Zepbounds. It is possible to keep the weight off, but you have to be very diligent. Most people regain at least some of it. So the goal is not to get to your goal and then have it disappear within days, weeks, or months, or years. The goal is to get there and stay there. And so if the actions that you have to take are so extreme, like if you've been like shoehorning yourself and forcing yourself into these behaviors and actions, and like white knuckling every meal, every social event, every holiday, every special occasion, is that really sustainable? Are you going to be able to keep that up? So let me, and if not, maybe you need to reassess. Maybe you need to rethink your goal, be it a number, a range of numbers, a size, or whatever. You get the point by now. You might have to reassess where you actually want to be and what is sustainable and maintainable. You might have to get okay and be okay with, sorry, I can see this hair is like really annoying me. Okay. This one little strand is driving me crazy. You might have to be okay with getting to a weight that is maybe 3, 5, 8, 10 pounds heavier than you ideally would like to be, but you can see yourself happily and easily maintaining that slightly higher weight or that slightly higher body fat percentage. Why? Because even if you're just a little bit away from your ideal, from where you wish, in an ideal circumstance world, you would be at X weight or X body fat. If you accept being a little bit off from that because you enjoy your life more, you enjoy your food more, you don't feel so restricted and that like you're going to be rebel any minute and eat everything in sight for 6 months. You don't feel so deprived. You're not white knuckling all the time. You're not spending hours and hours in the gym every single day and like neglecting your work, neglecting family responsibilities because you're so focused on weight. So it might be very worth accepting and being okay with being a little heavier or larger than you ideally would like to be, because you can sustain it permanently And, assuming you are in good health and that your weight is not an impediment to your enjoyment of life, assuming it's not limiting your mobility or limiting whatever else it may be. So I want to read you two things that I came across that I think really hammer this point home. One of them is from a Canadian doctor named Yoni Freedoff. Some of you may have heard of him. He's fairly well known in the conventional nutrition world. I'm not a huge fan of Dr. Freedoff because I think he's very anti-keto. Maybe somebody with epilepsy or something like that, he could be like, oh yeah, keto makes sense. He's not such a big fan of very, very low carbon keto diets for the general public or just for, That being said, he gets some things right. Even people that I disagree with on some things, we can see eye to eye on other things. And so he posted, actually this was shared in a blog that I read on Substack. But they quoted Dr. Freedoff as saying, your best weight is whatever weight you reach when you're living the healthiest life that you actually enjoy. Oh yeah. Because again, what is the point of getting to your goal weight or your goal physique if you are miserable? If every meal is torture, and if you have to choke down another can of tuna in water, what is the point? And hey, I like me some tuna in water, but I'm probably going to drain it and add some olive oil and put some yummy other stuff with it. Anyway, you get my point. If, being healthy, being fit is supposed to support your life and supposed to help you feel good, supposed to help you feel better. So what's the point of doing that? What's the point of reaching your goal weight or your size or seeing your rippling muscles popping out all over if your life sucks and you're unhappy? And again, you're exhausted, probably physically and, mentally and emotionally exhausted from, no pun intended, the hamster wheel or the ceaseless treadmill of chasing this goal and trying to keep it up all the time, 24/7. You can't ever not think about your food, your exercise, your sleep, your red light glasses, whatever. What is the point? So what if, again, you get to a point that's a little bit off from there, but you are happy? What a concept. You are content. Your entire life, your entire schedule, all of your mental real estate does not revolve around and is not taken up with your weight, your food, your exercise, your sleep, your meditation, your whatever. So I want to read you something else. I said there were two things. This was posted in a group I'm from, and I, of course, will leave the person anonymous. This person said, today I asked myself, if I let go of chasing a magic number or a certain BMI, what does happy weight really mean for me? My answer, my happiest weight isn't something the scale can decide. It's where I feel comfortable in my skin, proud of my choices, and able to live my life without holding back. Real progress is using the scale as one tiny piece of feedback, not as a measure of my worth. Can I hold up use the scale as one bit of feedback, not a measure of my worth? Preach it, girl. Holla to me. All right. I want my goal life to be full of connection, energy, and joy, not just smaller pants. Happy weight for me is about living fully right here, right now, no matter what the number says. Amen. I'll hold it up again. Preach. Could not have said it better myself. And even Mark Sisson, the great Mark Sisson, those of you who remember from way back in the day when paleo and primal were the big things going before keto and low carb and carnivore, Mark Sisson ran the great Mark's Daily Apple blog, and I think he's phenomenal. I follow him peripherally now still, but he wasn't really talking about weight with this. He was talking about all of these wearable devices and apps, all of this technology that we have to trace our heart rate and our step count and our blood glucose and ketones and all the other things that pulse ox, like whatever, all the other things that people are doing. And he said something like, the day I need an app to tell me whether I'm happy, just take me out and shoot me. Yeah, pretty much. So the day that you need a number on a scale to make you happy, good luck. Because as soon as you get there, you're probably going to move the goalpost anyway. Now, I did say that I would come back to BMI. I think that the BMI is garbage. It is, if you actually look into the history of where it came from, it is actually very racist. There's a lot of racist undertones built into it. And it is, I want to say somewhat, kind of almost entirely arbitrary. I don't think that a chart hanging on a wall created by someone who's never met you, never met your family, doesn't know your genetics, doesn't know your situation, I don't think that that should be what you aspire to weigh, the number on that chart. However, that being said, I want to recognize that if you are in a certain category of BMI, specifically like the overweight, the various categories of overweight, of obese, you might be penalized for that financially in terms of maybe you have a higher insurance premium, or maybe, I don't know what, maybe you don't qualify for certain other things. And your doctor might even get on your case every time, oh, you need to lose weight, you need to lose weight. So if losing weight, if having an actual definite lower number on a scale would move you into a different, i.e. like lower BMI category, and that does something positive for you with regard to health insurance, life insurance, or any other issue, then I can totally understand you setting your sights on a certain number. I wish that wasn't the case, because if a doctor is hounding you about your weight, and if you're in good health, then you should find a new doctor, because your doctor should be far more concerned with your health than with the number on the scale and with the size of your body. So if you're healthy and a doctor is still trying to blame every little thing going on your weight, that's an issue. Not to mention, so many of the things that I talk about on this channel, like type 2 diabetes, PCOS, fatty liver disease, cardiovascular disease, erectile dysfunction, all of these, skin issues, migraines, gout, all of these things that we know are caused or exacerbated by insulin resistance or chronically high insulin. It happens to thin people too. None of those conditions is exclusive to heavier people. So the answer can't necessarily be you have to lose weight. Because what would they tell a thin patient who has raging fatty liver? What would they tell a thin patient who has adult acne and eczema and psoriasis and rosacea? What would they tell a thin patient who has cardiovascular disease? The solution can't be to lose weight if they don't have weight to lose. So anyway, sorry, that was a little rant. I wanted to acknowledge that is a rationale that I can understand for somebody setting their sight on a particular weight. But each of the BMI categories, whether it's, I don't remember if they call it normal or healthy, whatever that weight is, and then there's overweight and there's different categories of obesity, each of those categories has a range, and it's a pretty big range. So if you have to, for financial or other reasons, you try to move into a different BMI category, then I would still recommend that you not aim for any one particular number, but you can aim to just get into that category, get into that range, and maybe you stay at the higher end of the range. So, you don't have to aim to be at the super. If I was at the low end for my range, I think I would look sick. I think I would look like a skeleton. Right now, I'm a little higher than I'd like to be. I have no problem admitting that. I'd like to get closer to the middle of my range or the lower end. But if I was at like the lowest end for my BMI, And again, I don't think I would look well. I don't think I would look good. And it would probably not be sustainable. I can't even imagine what I would need to do to get there. So that there's no way that that's my ideal. So remember, you don't really have a goal weight. You have a goal life. You have a happy weight, you have a happy life, maybe you do have a goal shape and a goal physique, but your shape and physique can be very different from what you think it would be at a certain number. You might get to a certain number and think, wait a minute, I was supposed to look a certain way at this number. Why am I still jiggly? Why do I still have jiggly bits all over the place? Why do I still have saddlebags? Why do I still have a gut? Because you are just a lighter version of the same shape of person. You look the same, you're just smaller. So, or the opposite that I alluded to earlier, or didn't allude to, I came right out and said it. You could be heavier than you would like to be, but you look amazing. And let me let you in on a little secret, especially the ladies watching. Some of the women who you might admire for their physique, and I'm not talking about like bikini models and fitness competitors who are like, you can tell something ain't exactly right. Just a woman who has a nice amount of muscle, who's lean, but you can tell she's got some muscle. She probably weighs a lot more than you think she does. Her weight is higher because she's so heavily muscled and it's dense and her body is like tight and compact. So you really just cannot go by a number on the scale. With that in mind, let me close this one out. I will include a link in the description to this video for the much older video I did on why you should not have a goal weight. I think it couldn't hurt you to hear this more than once. And other than that, remember, we have merch. Unfortunately, at the moment, I'm recording this July 30th, 2025. The mugs are in stock, I believe, but all the other drinkware is out of stock. I have drinking glasses and metal tumblers and even a metal water bottle. They are all out, but a lot of the apparel is in. The t-shirts, sweatshirts, all that stuff is in stock. Please check out the Keto Without the Crazy merch store. There's a link. And until then, well, first, if you're not already subscribed to this channel and you need someone to help you get the crazy out, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button. And until next time, do promise me that you will keep the crazy out of your keto.